Hello everyone. We'll be starting with Human Genome Project Part 2, that is Structural Genomics and Early Map. That was Chromosome Bending Map in this lecture. So genomics was grossly divided into three fields. We discussed in the previous lecture that genome projects for human DNA was undertaken, and this genome project was basically for 3 billion base pairs of nuclear genome. So genomics can be divided into structural genomics, functional genomics and comparative genomics. So structural genomics basically deals with physical and genetic mapping. So we have physical and genetic mapping which are done in structural genomics, and in functional genomics basically we tend to come up with function of the DNA, or the functional part of the DNA, we refer to it as gene. So identification of the gene and its function, what kind of protein it is going to encode, all that part will come in the functional genomics. Comparative genomics basically deals with the differences between evolutionary differences between different organisms. So let's say we take here as primates. So once we have sequence information, so we can have comparison of different primate species, that what has led to the evolution of humans, and they are at the top of the primates group, and what kind of changes they have gradually occurred. So that part is covered in comparative genomics. Now structural genomics characterizes the structure of the genome. So in this we will also study about loci of the gene, where genes are located at the chromosome. So genes can be cloned on the basis of knowing where they are in the genome. So it is very important that where the genes are present in the genome. So then if the loci and their placement on the genome is known, they can be characterized at structural level and for comparative genomics, and it will be possible to deduce the general rule that govern the overall structural organization of all the genomes. And structural genomics proceed through increasing level of analytical resolution, starting with base to base sequence determination. So this base to base sequence determination is basically part of physical mapping. So physical mapping basically deals with sequencing projects. Sequencing, in sequencing what we'll do, we'll come up with base to base sequence, and finally after we come up with base to base sequence, so we will assign the genes and markers to individual chromosomes, and then mapping of these genes and markers within a chromosome, and finally the preparation of physical map culminating in sequencing. So now let's say this is a chromosome. We all know that in this complete chromosome there will be a specific pattern of A, T, G and C. We have discussed A, T, G and C. So we need to come up with the base to base sequence information. What is the order of these A, T, G and C? Now this part will be done by physical mapping, but then we need to know if let's say we want to explore this particular region on the chromosome of let's say 10 individuals. So how do we do that? So we need to have some gene, or we need to place some marker here at this position. So when we use this marker, the marker basically gives us information about this region of the chromosome. So marker, you can assume they are as a signboard which are present on the DNA, which will guide us to navigate the DNA. Let's say we want to explore what is the status of this particular gene, whether this gene is defective or whether this gene is having this mutation or not. So if there is a marker, we can simply analyze this marker which is located either close to the gene or which is actually the part of the gene, and once we come up with marker evaluation, we can tell that what is the status of this gene. So it is very important that genes are assigned on the chromosome and markers are assigned to individual chromosomes, which will help us navigate on the total chromosome. So structural genomics is basically has two different aspects, genetic and physical maps. So physical maps use molecular biology techniques to examine DNA molecule directly in order to construct map showing the position of sequence feature. So this is base to base sequence if you characterize of the DNA, that is part of the physical mapping. And in genetic mapping, basically use of genetic techniques to construct maps showing the position of the genes and other sequence features on the genome. So it basically relies on cross breeding experiments or examination of pedigree, and it basically uses linkage maps and crossing over for understanding the genetic locations and genetic distance between the two genes which we are studying. So physical map is a map generated by genetic technique. Okay, a map generated by genetic technique is not sufficient for directing the sequencing phase of the genome project. So first we have to work on physical map, then only we can work on the genetic map. Because in humans, if you do pedigree analysis and if you want to look for multiple generation, if you wish to analyze inheritance, it is very difficult to monitor it in the human. So physical mapping is the first map which will come up, and then we will go in for location of the genes and other things, because genetic map is not complete and it cannot supplement completely the physical mapping. Now because the resolution of genetic map depends on the number of crossover that have been scored. Now in human it is very difficult to come up with crossover, so this is not a major problem for microorganisms or other classes of organisms, but it is very difficult in humans. Okay, and there is another problem that we cannot obtain large number of progeny. So few meiosis can be studied, and the resolving power of linkage analysis is restricted. So therefore initially we'll work for physical map and then we will look for genetic maps. So genetic map, because of this, has limited accuracy, because in Saccharomyces things were easy, but when the genetic map was done in Saccharomyces cerevisiae for chromosome 3, and the comparison was made between genetic map and actual position of markers as shown by DNA sequencing. So there were considerable discrepancies. So genetic map showed considerable discrepancies between the genes in the Saccharomyces cerevisiae chromosome 3. So it has a very small genome. So if the discrepancies are present in Saccharomyces cerevisiae, so we cannot completely rely on genetic map in the case of humans, which is very, very huge. So if each genetic map was inaccurate, so genetic map of organisms like human will be very difficult. So we will go through physical mapping and keep on comparing the genetic map and physical mapping with each other. So limitation of genetic mapping for most eukaryotes show that it has to be supplemented with large scale DNA sequencing. So large scale DNA sequencing and all that is done in the physical map. So physical mapping gives an estimate of physical distance between specific known DNA sequences on a chromosome, and the distance between these DNA sequences on a chromosome are referred to as base pairs between them, while in genetic mapping the distance are referred as centimorgans, Morgan and centimorgans. So there are several different techniques used for physical mapping. These are restriction mapping, fluorescence in situ hybridization, sequence tag site. We will be dealing about all these in the subsequent lectures. Now genome mapping, this is the human DNA. Okay, so this is genetic map which allows relative positions of heterozygous linked allele to be located. Now physical map allows precise location of specific DNA sequence to be located, because physical map basically relies on the sequence information. So whatever markers are coming up with genetic map, they can be verified by physical map that they are having the same positions and same locations on the chromosome. So this is a clone map. We'll be talking about that in the subsequent lecture. So the phase of evolution which came was initially with chromosome banding map. This was the first map, that is a cytogenetic map. So this cytogenetic map had average band distance of several MBs. Then came chromosome breakpoint map. Chromosome breakpoint map was basically somatic cell hybrid, monochromosomal radiation hybrid, whole genome restriction radiation hybrid maps. So the distance was several MBs, and the whole genome radiation hybrid map had resolution of 0.5 MB. So after that came restriction map, which had resolution of several KBs. Then came Clone contig map. Now in clone contig map, usage of overlapping clones of yak and overlapping clones of BAC was done. So this was basically referred to as clone contig mapping. So to further lower the distance between the known DNA sequences, then came STS map, resolution was tens of kb. Then came EST map, this was basically a gene map. So the resolution was tens of kbs, and then came complete DNA sequence map. So the resolution was 1 base pair. Now we'll be talking about chromosome banding. So chromosome banding was the cytogenetic map in which metaphysic chromosomes they were mounted on the slide, and then several methods are there which will tell us the banding pattern. So in this, identification of chromosome is done on the basis of their size and the position of the centromere, and that led to classification of chromosomes into groups. So the largest chromosome in size is referred as 1 and the smallest one are sex chromosomes. This allowed accurate determination and definition of chromosomal abnormalities. So chromosomes are denatured by enzyme or heat, and digestion. After digestion they are exposed to DNA specific dyes. So this produces alternating light and dark bands in mitotic chromosomes. So as you can see, these are dark bands and these are dark bands, and in between there are light bands. Now this diagram shows the human gene map. So what actually they have done, we have discussed in the previous classes on heterochromatin methylation, that promoters are very highly rich in CpG islands. So here the probe of CpG island is being used. So when the CpG island probe is used, so it gives fluorescence in red color. So whatever chromosomes are showing more of the red fluorescence, that means these chromosomes are going to be gene rich. So there are few chromosomes which are very rich in genes, and there are few chromosomes which have very few genes in them. So in this you can see the fluorescent signal help us come up with the number of genes maybe which are present on the chromosome. So this was human gene map. Now there are several chromosome bending methods. So one of the most commonly which we hear is G banding. So in these chromosomes are taken, controlled digestion is done and stained with Giemsa. Positive bands which stain positively with Giemsa are referred to as G band, and negative bands are referred to as G negative. Then Q banding, these are in this the chromosomes are stained with fluorescent dyes. These are quinacrine, DAPI or Hochist. These are viewed under UV, and fluorescing band are basically Q band, which correspond to G band. Here we have fluorescent dye, here we have Giemsa, but the Q band also correspond to the G band. So G negative will be Q negative. So this is a reverse banding. So reverse Giemsa, chromosomes are heat denatured, denatures AT rich region. So R bands are Q negative. So R bands are Q negative, so that means they will be G negative also. And now because it denatures AT rich region, so basically the bands which are stained are GC rich region, that's why they are negative. So it can also be done by GC specific dyes as chromomycin, A3, olivomycin or mitramycin. Now T band, it identifies R bands close to telomeres, so severe heat denature and stained with Giemsa. C banding demonstrates constitutive heterochromatin at centromeres. So chromosomes are denatured by saturated barium hydroxide and stained with Giemsa for constitutive heterochromatin determination. So these are some of the banding, chromosome bending methodologies which help us come up with chromosome bending map. Now these maps are useful when we have to tell about there is gross chromosomal abnormality, there is aneuploidy, or there is less number of chromosome, more number of chromosome, a particular arm of chromosome is missing. So this map is very useful for those kind of information, and these are some of the methodologies which are useful in chromosome banding. This is a selected reading for chromosome banding and structural genomics.